Ashbourne, Virginia, and 3, 2, 1.
You are now listening to Beyond the Veil, a production of Holosuite Media. Tune in to our live show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The following live broadcast may not be suitable for all ages. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individual providing them and do not represent the opinion of this station, website, or any affiliated partners. Audience discretion is advised.
Tell me, Superman, do you bleed? As you will. 'Cause I'm freaking Batman.
You're the TSW's kind of Batman.
Swear to me!
Hello and hello, Secret Worlders, and welcome to episode 136 of Beyond the Veil podcast, where we bring you the latest and greatest about the Secret World MMO, only the best MMO ever, right? I'm Antita, your host for the evening, and joining me to talk more about the game are where are the ladies? Griff.
Hi, I'm over here.
Hello. How are you doing?
I am all right, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm surviving.
Yeah.
Then we also have Veritas.
Hi there.
Hello. Very chirpy tonight.
I know it makes a change from last week. I'm so tired.
Yeah. Then we have the boys for tonight. Well, not just tonight, but okay. We have Azekthor.
For one night only.
A little bit, yeah.
G'day, everyone.
Hello. And we also have Gigabyte.
He would like to get one night only sleep.
Dude, once you have a baby, you're suffering from chronic lack of sleep.
I've joined the Insomnia Club.
Yes, that's what happens. Well, there's two reasons, right? One is you have a baby, and they keep you up, or he or she keeps you up, or you just continue to play the game and you turn into a zombie that's playing the game and you don't even realize it. Has it ever happened to you guys that you've played the game for such a long time, or you're dead tired but you're not giving up?
Yes, it has.
Oh, yes.
Sort of. I played, when Spore first came out, I played that for so long I didn't even realise the sun had come up at 5 a.m.
Wow. Something kind of shining bright didn't really caught your attention.
What's that light out my window? Oh my god, it's the sun!
Yeah, I just realized that something is happening with my eyes, and I keep on squinting, and it's yeah, something's up. I don't feel as good. What the hell? And then I look at the time and go oh, crap, I've been playing for such a long time. Look at the time. Yeah. That's something
Wonderful
that happens to me a lot with the Secret World.
Wonderful when a game can draw you in like that.
Well, and I always find it amusing if it gets anywhere up around 8 hours or more and you look at it and you're like, I could have worked a shift at work. I have been on this game.
I get paid to work 8
I
hours
should have been
on something.
paid for playing this game.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's never as much fun though. And to be honest, whenever I'm playing it on my own, I don't tend to play for that amount of time. It's only when I play with a group, that you kind of just you burn the midnight oil, basically.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I marathon even more if I'm on my own. I think it's because I get my brain right into that without any distractions, and I'll just keep going.
Oh, I don't know. The amount of times I've been on Secret World with these guys and been like, so who wants to run 18s? Look at the time, it's like, oh, it's 1 a.m. I can
And
get
then
one
2-3
in.
hours later.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
there
think
were
One
times.
machine tyrant later.
I think
Hey,
the
we weren't that bad.
I think the 2 times I've been worst at it was one year we had the golems going, and I was on like right before it was gonna shut off, so we were all hanging out trying to spot the last of them. And then the other time I at least had an excuse. I was on for Extra Life, so at least I had a reason.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
and you can
kind of
always
did
say that
me
you're
in.
practicing for that in the future.
Yeah, there we go.
Did you guys ever pull like 24-hour straight thing?
Yes.
No.
Did you have a crunch time where you were completely falling asleep and then, like 5-10 minutes later, you were completely fine?
Yep.
Absolutely. Usually in PvP games. Whatever.
Yeah,
I
I have to make a mental note to myself whenever I'm tired, do not do scenarios. Do not do scenarios. At least not, the seek and preserve kind of scenarios because I fall asleep during those.
It's a good thing we've got so many other scenario types to do then.
Yeah, of course. And then everybody's wondering, what? What
You
do you
don't have
mean?
access to all the super secret scenarios? Oh, you're missing out on so much fun.
Well, hopefully. Hang on. What has been the latest word on the scenario that we got from the development team or from Funcom? Is that kind of like they just left it in the air and we're like, okay, we don't really know what we're going to do with it, when we're going to release it, or did they mention anything specific? I can't remember now. Dang it.
No, I haven't heard anything. I think the last we heard was probably here on this show that they're still working on the art assets
2.5.
for it.
Yeah,
But
because
as soon as the art assets are done, it'll be like 3 days and it's fine. It's all good to go.
So a little birdie tells us, or writes to us that we actually have action happening on Test Live. It's like, yay! Something's up. Something's coming.
I always love those posts too, because obviously everybody wants to behave, and which is just the you guys might want to check it out. Just just saying.
Just FYI.
Yeah, because the thing is as well, we all have heard that, well, we know from previous posts that I do believe it was announced in the GD letter that Joel did, that issue 11 will be coming out in April, right? So it's not soon, TM, it's April. Then as, the end of April drew near, or it's drawing near, people start freaking out over on the live game forums. They're like, oh, come on, guys, it's not even on Test Live yet. What's going on? And da-da-da-da-da-da. And I can't believe it that even Bilos posted. He was one of the posters letting people know that, hey, a lot can happen. Even though we say it's going to come out in April, something can happen just out of the blue, which has happened before, and we need to push back the date. So everybody was like, oh my God, so is it going to be May? Is it going to be May? We do not know, folks. Nobody knows at this point. What we do know for sure is that the last bit, or, well, not really the last bit, but there's lots of things going on the test live now. There's some changes that are going to be coming up, but there's also new missions that people are currently testing on the test server that have to do with the Orochi Tower. So if you are a grandmaster or a subscriber of the game and you want the issue to come out, without any bugs at all, do go on the test live. You can copy your character over directly from your Funcom's account for the secret world, and within about 30 to 60 minutes, your account, as it is right now on the live server, will be copied over to the test server. And you will have access to absolutely everything that your character has right now on the live game. And you can, do your best to test stuff out and see what's up and what's happening. You can always log into the Test Live forums as well and check those out. But is there anything like from when you guys saw the update notes for the issue, is there anything in particular that caught your attention? Something always stands out.
The change to Fudaguchi Onna, the rare Spectre lady in Kaiden, that's an interesting one. She's been changed yet again to bring her on in line with all the other ones. That's good. She's still, hour and a half spawn. It's not always her. And they're also changing the Fungal Crawler of Lang's loot table to drop a unique gadget. Now, all the if you didn't know, all the rares in Tokyo drop a gadget, a blue gadget, which is kind of fun. So now there's going to be another one to track down.
Yeah.
I do like the fact they've changed the meetup functionality to work with anyone rather than just people on your friends list or on your team.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is awesome. But there's some changes, that I've noticed for PvP as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking hard reset. That's going to be a big thing. The hard reset's going from 15 meters to 7.5. That's good.
Is that going to make it easier to get out of the range for it?
Maybe it might mean that people can actually take people down with hard reset a lot quicker if they're closer. The 50-meter range, you weren't always sure as to who was casting it. So that might make it a lot bit easier to heal in PvP.
So you think this is a good change?
Yeah, well, I prefer hard reset wasn't there at all, personally, but yeah, for obvious reasons. But no, from 15 meters to 7.5, I think then you can almost see it coming as well. You're a lot more aware of who's around you as a healer too, so you can usually guess who's going to cast the hard reset and then move. So that's an interesting one for me personally.
So you've had about a month since the hard reset was changed last time. How's it worked out? People were really worried to start with it was going to be too overpowered. Has that been the case?
It's down to gear. It depends on who's casting it as to how strong it's going to be. But there was a little bit of a worry in PvP that everybody was going to be running hard reset and red mist.
Little bit.
Yeah. But
you PvPers don't do anything half-assed.
No,
you are so freaking passionate about it, even the minor changes. It's like,
well, these can be game changers for us. These can be real game changers, and it all depends on who's quick enough to adapt to the changes. So hard reset has been a bit of an issue for us in PvP. It's been interesting. And Thor's hammer. But I know that's not changed, but that was the other big thing in PvP at the moment.
There were on the notes, there were 2 general combat ones they're testing that I know I noticed. One of them was improved all rating buffs, such as critical rating, hit rating, protection to grant 40 rating per stack. And the other one was increased the base damage of all primary weapon, cone, and column-based activated abilities. I like running AR shotgun, so I've got some cone abilities that I'm kind of curious.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds
plus
like a really good change.
overall there seems to be a lot of there seems to be a lot of positive changes, but there's also a lot of fixes. Have you guys noticed that? Like certain fixes
Yeah.
that have been in the game, like or rather, I should say, bugs that have been in the game for quite a
Forever.
bit. Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
just
want to
looking
use
at the
that
missions.
word, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm just
I
looking at the
agree.
missions Singing Stones, which has been in the game for God knows how long. And they've finally finished and fixed the issue that occasionally prevents players from progressing in that mission that I got caught on back in the day. And I think every single person got caught on. I still remember hanging around the little circle of stones that you had to go to, one of
Yeah.
the circles of stones, and just standing around with other people that had gotten stuck at that point, all waiting for a GM to show up. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surprised it's taken them this long to fix that issue.
Plus,
Oh,
they've
that
also
reminds.
fixed. Go ahead.
I totally. You go. My computer's being weird.
Okay. Yeah, there's also something for the PvP that I noticed that the playfields will now attempt to put players in the first group with an empty slot available.
Yeah,
So I
that's
guess,
Fusang.
yeah, you're not gonna, because before, well, quite recently, you would get into Fusang and then you would have the raid window that would be of like 1/4 of your screen nearly, with so many groups with like just 1 or 2 player, maybe 3. And then,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, so that's a welcome change.
On fixes, I saw that they added more dances to when you complete the pagan mission, and that's something that I'd been hoping they'd do.
Yeah, they added
Yeah.
all the newest
Yeah,
ones, didn't they?
that's
That was quite
cool.
good.
So I think every time I try to run that mission, I wind up trying one of the new dances first, and then I go, "Oh yeah, wait, no, I can't do that."
No, there's definitely a lot of good stuff coming out of it. And players overall have been very positive on the test live when it comes to these fixes, as you know, any player would be. So I'm just wondering how many bribes did Tilty have to have to offer? Remember what he was talking about, or rather, it was Joel who was talking about how Tilty gets things done, like, you know, quite sneakily.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so hopefully he had, you know, people benefited from some chocolates or stuff like that. Because poor Scrivenomancer, he had tweeted out that he was working overtime on Saturday. So, you know, that means work is getting done for sure.
I was watching those tweets too.
Yeah. Okay, so Test Live is definitely up and running, peeps. Just to recap, it does have a whole host of fixes for things that have been in the game, as Gigabyte had said, only for forever. Or for a very, very long time, if you want a more accurate description. But yeah, so very, very good changes coming up, or fixes. And of course, the story mission has been put on Test Live that people are currently playing and testing out. So as I said previously, if you are a subscriber or a GM of the game, you do have access to Test Live. Remember, only subscribers and grandmasters of the game, meaning lifers, have access to Test Live. If you are not a subber, you do not have access. So, sorry. If you are, head on to Test Live. If nothing else, go head on to forums. You'll be able to see what's coming up in the game. If you don't like spoilers, that's fair enough. But if you are one of those people who likes to kind of test stuff out and see what's happening, then head on over to Test Live and try to do those new missions as much as you possibly can. Check every corner for things that maybe should not be there, or for behavior that maybe should not be happening. And then if you do find any bugs, do report it. It's very important that you report it with as much information as you possibly can. And the QA testers will take it from there.
That's a really good point you bring up too, because it's not necessarily just about running the new missions either, especially when they do a lot of fixes and stuff. It's, testing for bugs and the fixes too, I'm sure.
Yeah. As Davichi said, yeah, go and test unless you really want to wait for live. Alrighty. So, anything to add?
Yeah, just while we're on the Test Live forums, we don't. Of course, we don't want to talk about any spoilers, but there was something which I think we could talk about because nothing is known about it so far. Now, it's on the show notes. I'm sure I'm allowed to talk about it. Oh wait, I added it to the show notes myself. There is possibly something called an ultimate ability, which came up on... Yes. So some users were reporting that there was a big, long, grey bar just above their ability bar. So you got all your abilities and there was a big, long grey bar, which looked like, a graphics glitch. So a couple of people asked about it, and then they found that, in the UI options, there was a way to toggle on and off something called the ultimate ability, like charge up bar, which that's led to a whole heap of speculation, as we don't know anything about it yet. Just that there's something new coming, and that it's related to our choices, perhaps? So there's a lot to think about there.
Yep, so let's not go further. You covered it very well without...
So yeah, if this is related to our choices, it could be... we don't want rampant speculation here.
All I can think is Limit Break.
I was gonna
Limit
say.
Breaks in my secret world.
All I can think is like Kamen Rider. His odds! Final attack!
Yeah, I hope not.
Ultimate hit!
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting. And the thing is, I wonder if... remember last time we talked about the choices that we've made and the choices that the community has made, by majority of them. And the thing is, I'm wondering if there is going to be just one, which probably will be like one ultimate ability, but it might be stronger or weaker based on your choices. Or do you think it's going to be just a completely different kind of ability? Maybe we'll have some skill points that we can put into that.
Yeah, I imagine they'll let us upgrade it a little bit, but as to whether they'll be different or stronger, I think because the way the choices were made, it would be a very, very bad move if they had objectively better skills for which options you picked, especially when so many people accidentally made that first choice. I imagine they'll just go down the Mass Effect 3 path in terms of choice and just have different coloured
A, B, and C, yeah.
abilities.
Yeah, so it remains to be seen. And the thing is, if we know anything...
So there'll be a coloured one. You cut out there.
Oh, yeah, if we know anything from the development team, we know that anything that has even the slightest inkling of the story or how the story progresses, they will not release it on Test Live. So while you do get certain maybe minor spoilers, you will definitely not be getting the big, reveals when it comes to the storyline. That's a big no-no on Test Live. So the development team is very careful not to reveal too much, even on Test Live, prior to the general release. And this release is just going to be epic, I think. Because, it's the end of story of book 1 in TSW story. And it's just going to be, even Joel Bylos had posted that he's definitely going to be reading the lore section on the forum, because he really wants to see what people say after the game goes live and, everything is revealed.
Yeah, I was trying to explain how that goes with the story in this game to one of my friends who doesn't play, and how, everybody partly gets so hyped up because we're waiting to see, where the plot goes and what gets revealed. And he told me that creates a mental image in his mind of all of our devs meeting in some seedy bar with, secret handshakes. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we've suggested that happens before. I think they may have made that joke before.
So how would you guys, if you had to kind of sum up the storyline for the Secret World, how would you do it? What would you say to
Buffy
someone who
meets Dawn of
doesn't
the Dead.
know? Yeah, but those are references to something else as well that people might not have really looked at or watched. Because I, for one, me and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, no,
Yeah,
we
but
did not get along. So how would you describe
I
it?
would sum it up saying a soccer mum just really needs a hug.
Wow.
Oh my god, you nearly made me throw up my tea. Came out my nose.
I'm not
Soccer
even
mom?
sure how
As
I'm not
awful
even
as Lilith
sure.
is to us, it is, yeah, if the story do you talk about?
You were saying, Griff?
I'm not even sure. Usually what I'll do is I'll pick one mission and I'll give like example missions. I'll talk a little bit about the general theme of like the Black House mission, or I'll talk a little bit about the general story mission. Because it really is hard to try to sum it up into just one thing.
Yeah, the thing is, the storyline can get quite complex, and different people can see or pay attention to certain things more than others. But for the most part, I think that the majority of the players believe that the story in itself is really worth. The game, just based on the sheer storyline, is worth purchasing. Especially, I'm not sure if it's still on sale on Steam, just to throw it out there, because I think the game on Steam right now is being sold for like 66% off. So if you can, hop on over there and do buy it. Massive Edition is also on sale, and the Fall of Tokyo pack, I do believe, is on sale as well. So do you use it up if it's still on there? But yeah, so the storyline is one of the gems what make this game completely and utterly awesome. So for the most part, there's lots of, because we don't have all the answers, and the development team likes to provide answers and create new questions, and the possibility of just going in, people can speculate to their heart's content with where the story is going to take us next, what's going to happen in the storyline, and stuff like that. But this is crunch time. We're coming up to the end of book 1, and we're going to find certain things for sure. So there'll be no need for speculation. So yeah, we try on this show not to give away too many spoilers when it comes to the storyline. So, it is pretty awesome. If you have not bought it yet, do give it a go. If nothing else, you can log on to the forums for the game and just ask the community a question.
I remember the other thing I was mentioning to a friend of mine at one point is I was talking about some of the conversations that go on in the lore forums, that we'll have an NPC and somebody will find like a detail about that NPC, and they'll go into history and myths and folklore and have this whole elaborate idea of where this character comes from and who they are. And a good chunk of the time, there's a good chance that's correct, because there is that much effort put in, and there are all of these, links to history and to folklore.
Yeah, there's definitely a wealth of knowledge and just different things from real life and real world that have been kind of intertwined into the story of the Secret World. That's what makes it epically awesome to me.
I think there's been a bit of a train of thought with some PvPers as well, as they would like the PvP zones to be linked in with the story as well, to be part of the whole thing, not just to be seen as an end game or a separate part of it, but to be part of the whole thing.
That is true, yeah.
I thought that was going to be a thing because
So did I.
Came out. Well, before the game came out, they were really pushing this whole idea of the Secret War, especially with the Facebook thing they came up with.
Yeah, but that's coming up, though, isn't it?
Yes, but in the game, the Secret War is kind of pushed as the PvP aspect. The PvP is the Secret War. That's where all the factions are fighting. And based on what they were talking about before the game was released, it was almost expected that the PvP aspect would be like incorporated into the whole storyline.
And it will be.
Well, eventually, yeah. I think that's kind of
they
a secondary thought now.
They did say that they do have plans for a complete PvP issue, which is going to explain the Secret War and bring PvP, explain the PvP and how everything connects and stuff like that. So that's, I guess, one of the reasons why they can't really talk about the PvP issue in itself, other than to say, hey, it's happening. Just exactly where it's going to be put into the game, they don't know yet. Hopefully it's going to be sooner rather than later, because I do think that PvP definitely needs some love.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Because and a lot of PvPers do play the PvP aspect of it because it's a way of getting gear or enhanced gear or XP or, and a lot of PvPers do follow the storyline, but alternatively there are a lot of people who don't, who PvP completely. So it would be really good just to have them incorporated into the bigger picture as well. And the other thing I was going to say is it's actually about the only place that the three factions actually fight each other. We actually go to war.
That's right.
So it's
you go to war every single hour of every single day.
every 20 minutes if it's a full game in ED.
True.
Yeah, so we have the aspect of it is that we are fighting the secret war, but it's not so secret when we're fighting face to face. So it would be good if we could have it all incorporated rather than not that I see it as being separate, but a lot of PvEers probably find us a little bit separate, and I know we're going to talk about that later. So I won't take too much away from that.
But when it comes to, sorry, did someone want to say something else?
I was just going to add there, in terms of like the storytelling, I always describe it as being on par with something like BioWare, just because BioWare are well known for having such great storytelling in their games. Things like Knights of the Old Republic and God knows how many other games they've done with amazing storylines. I've always thought the storytelling in the Secret World is on par with something like that.
Very true. Now, moving on to something very similar. It has to do with PvP, but it also has to do with IMTSW contest. The new round has been revealed that will start on Monday and last for 2 weeks, and that is the PvP montage round. Ooh.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, are you going to be submitting? Just not screenshots.
If I can find time to do this, yes, absolutely, 100% I will. I'm really excited about that, and I'm so pleased that they put a PvP element into it.
Definitely, and they even gave you guys a choice. You can either do it with 3 screenshots and up to 400 words, or you can do a video up to 3 minutes. It's like, how can you go wrong with that? You know, you can do either or.
I'm actually looking forward to Ardry's entry.
Oh, he'll need to work on it a bit.
Video.
There's probably going to be a little bit of both, but I'm just thinking he's going to need to cut it down to 3 minutes.
Absolutely, and 400 words even. And I've got a feeling that I'll be roped in somewhere along the lines with this. But no, I'm really pleased. I'm really excited about this.
Nice.
I was really impressed to see that come up because they've done a lot of rounds that you could participate as a primarily a PvPer, and you could go either way, and I think it's really cool that they picked a round and said this specifically is for PvP to shine.
And do you know what else? What else might be really interesting as well is we might actually get some people into PvP as well. Specifically to take part in this, so that's going to be another good thing as well.
That is right, because the prizes, there's 4 cabals / groups that are offering prizes. The CZSK is offering Undying Augment Resonator, Mercurial Augment Resonator, Purple Signet of Violence, 20 million packs, and a Quetzal Bird that probably goes, 10 million packs plus at the auction house if you can find one. So those are some pretty awesome prizes.
There have been some really nice prizes. I was skimming over them the other day, and I'm trying to think which round they were for. It might have been for the handcrafted round, but I noticed quite a few cabals were offering carries through some of the more difficult areas, guaranteeing you to get, whatever item or thing is special about that round. And I thought that was a really cool idea.
I'd say I'm loving the handcrafted round.
It's amazing what people can do, how creative people can get. You kind of saw that in some of the cosplay outfits. Like, you, Griff, and Az, you've submitted those entries yourselves, and they look absolutely fantastic. And, it takes some imagination to kind of pull it off. Sure, you can have quite a lot of, you can throw a lot of money, you can have a seamstress make the thing and stuff like that, make the uniform. But there were some people who have really, really kind of, gone further, if I should say that. One thing that comes to mind is that guy who was he posted a screenshot of him in the bathroom as a filth Filthified, I guess one of the Orochi scientists and whatnot, with the tentacles coming out of his head and completely black. And I just thought that was uber creative. And so the creativity of that has kind of been supplemented by the handcrafted round, where anything that you kind of create with your hands, it can be, as simple as a cocktail, which some people have put up. And there's even one called Machine Tyrant or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I saw a mousse or a cake or something. It was like dragon.
Yeah, it was a cake.
Yeah.
It's like a cake, dragon cake.
Cheese cake.
That's
Oh,
right.
nice.
There's
know.
lots of stuff like that.
And anybody who missed like very end near the last minute of the cosplay round, I really recommend checking some of the last minute entries. I know one of them. It's Dot in game. It was great because we had a Yakko, Wacko, and a Dot. And there's a filth puppy in that one. There is a dog dressed as a filth dog. So we got the filth
Really?
puppy, and then we had somebody else who did do a Nurmagel.
Nurmagel,
So-
yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's really nice too, because the player is in like a hazmat suit, and then you got a puppy dressed like a filth puppy, and it's actually really impressive, other than being adorable.
Yeah, in the handcrafted one, I was just amazed at the board game that someone came up with. There, they've even got all the rules on there and everything. It's amazing.
Ooh, I have not seen that
Yeah,
one.
it's really interesting.
Any screenshots?
Yes, they got one screenshot of the map that they drew out of Agartha, and they must have been there for God knows how long. Hang on, I think it.
Yeah, people's creativity just kind of gobbles me sometimes. I just can't believe how people come up with stuff like that. Wow.
Oh, nice.
Wow. That is pretty cool. Guys, if you are like downloading this episode, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, definitely go on the forums and do check out those entries, because there's some pretty cool ones. We need some merchandise for this game. Like serious merchandise. Definitely. So wink wink, nudge nudge to Mindcom. It's like, come on, chop chop. Better get to it. They would be able to make some money off of that too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, especially if they put up some kind of community contest for that. Oh, that would be freaking awesome. All right, so just to kind of recap what's been happening in IMTSW contest, we had the audio round and the screenshot round that have had the winners already announced. The cosplay round is closed right now, and winners will be announced soon, I do believe. Usually they're announced like late Thursday or Friday, so probably tomorrow sometime you will be able to, or at least by the end of this week, which is 25th, 26th, you'll be able to see who are the winners of the cosplay round. We will post it on our Twitter, Beyond TSW, at Beyond TSW is the handle. So you can check it out there as well. The backstory round is open until the 26th of April. And the handcrafted round that has started this week will be open until the 3rd of May. The PvP montage round is starting from 27th of April, so it opens on Monday, and it lasts until the 11th of May. And do check out the rules on what you should be doing and how you should be submitting your entry. You need to make sure that you make a new post in the appropriate forum, linking your image or whatever it is that you have created, that you've made. It could be audio file for maybe the PvP montage round, and you have to make sure to have the IMTSW hashtag somewhere in your description, as well as your forum username. So if you have any questions when it comes to IMTSW contest, everything is explained on the forums. If you do have any kind of questions, you can post it. There's also a thread for posting questions that get answered very speedily by the community management team. So do head on over there if you do find something that you find necessary to ask that has not been answered already.
I love seeing how, I've said this before, I don't just love seeing how everybody kind of takes their rounds differently and submits, all these different things, but I love seeing how positive the forum as a whole is. There's just really great feedback on, everybody's entries, and I like seeing that.
Definitely. A lot of players are, I've started noticing that a lot of new players are kind of, poking their head in, going like, "Hi guys, I'm a new player, just wanted to introduce myself." And immediately, there's like a couple of pages of, "Hey, welcome to the Madhouse," or, just kind of greeting it in their own unique ways and warning them not to open any pony links. Yes, and if you're wondering why did I say that, well, if you play The Secret World, if you do go onto the forums, you'll know right away. If you don't, well, go on there and check it out.
And
You
just
will
remember,
find out.
ignorance is bliss.
No comment.
Do not click on any links.
No.
Regardless.
I have found some awesome links. Of course,
know.
one of them was "Don't hug me, I'm scared," but that was still awesome.
Oh god, that thing.
Don't hug me, I'm scared.
I don't know
haven't seen
how
that
I had.
one.
Don't watch it.
I don't know how I had never seen that before somebody linked it in the forums. That's the kind of random weird YouTube stuff that usually I find. But no, that was a present from the forums.
Awesome. Yeah, I love seeing people's comments, and so many times, I guess it's the mentality of, being a Twitter user or a Facebook user where you want to favor whatever someone had said. And whenever I see a post on the forums that kind of makes me giggle or makes me laugh out loud, especially if I'm reading it at work. And that happens quite a lot. I'm reading something during my break, or, I just kind of go, "Ooh, I just want to check this out quickly." And then I see a certain comment. And usually it's not long, but it's like a punchline. And
Yeah.
it makes me crack up. And I'm just looking for like, man, is there a way for me to kind of like or boost this post, somehow that other people would see it as well? It's absolutely hilarious.
I love the Irachi posts that got started and have kept going. I think those are beautiful.
Yeah, there's definitely some forum love that people give this game. That sounded weird. Yeah, that sounded
No,
weird.
but-
I'll go with that.
But to be fair, there's a lot of games that you don't even want to go near the forums. People don't even want to go near them with like a 50-foot pole because just no, it's all bad. And and ours are mostly really not bad places to hang out, and I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're a friendly, very, very friendly community and very, very helpful. So even if you do not go on the forums, if you're in a game, you're a new player who has just joined us, you maybe need some info or you need some advice. The best places to kind of get that is via two in-game channels, chat channels. One is Sanctuary. And one is Noobmares. They're very distinct in what they will provide you with. Sanctuary is basically for players up to the nightmare level. So if you need help with missions, with builds, with elites or normal dungeons, just general chit chat about the game, go to Sanctuary. Okay, it is your sanctuary from all the madness out there. Once you hit nightmare level and you start doing nightmare dungeons, raids, and stuff like that, end game stuff, Noobmares is a very, very friendly, very organized group of end game players who have formed this chat channel in order to help new players start off on the right foot, so to speak, with the nightmare level stuff, where they are not requiring you to be geared or experienced or anything like that. So you don't even have to have done one single nightmare. If you post there, hey guys, I'm new, I've just beaten the gatekeeper, I'm ready to do nightmare dungeons, can anyone help me out? I'm pretty sure you'll find a group that will be willing to kind of take you through, explain you the mechanics, and help you out in that way. Because that's just the kind of community that we are in the secret world. Right?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, and if you want a PvP, where do you go? Very.
You can either go to Fusang, Eldorado, or Stonehenge.
Yeah, but if you're, new player who kind of wants to introduce themselves or say, hi guys, I'm new, how do I do this, how do I do that?
We
Where
have
would you go?
We have our PvP forums, and we also have a PvP chat as well, which was actually set up by a couple of players, a couple of PvPers. We have a PvP chat channel, and a lot of the PvPers hang out in there, and it's multi-faction, and we just randomly talk if we're not PvPing. Don't be bothered if you don't get an answer straight away if you ask a question, because usually it means people are in game. So we have that as
they're
well.
otherwise engaged.
Yeah, do you know, this is what I keep on saying to people if they send me tells. Is it's very difficult sometimes to respond straight away, because you usually are involved in a game, and but they won't get back to you.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I
with
will
PvP,
get back to you.
in PvP, it's very different from actually being in a dungeon, because once you beat a boss in a dungeon, you have a little bit of a breathing room in between those, the next boss. Or you can say to the players in your group, can I just have a moment? Or, something along those lines. Whereas in PvP, you have no control over, your 5 seconds of having a break.
No, absolutely
You're
not.
very good at hiding, because people, you say you wanna take a break. It's like, get the hell out of here. Then we're here to have fun and to kill each other.
Exactly, absolutely, and yeah, so there might be a chance where that might not happen. So, but people will, on the whole, get back to you eventually after the game's finished. But no, you can't take a breather.
But another way that you guys can kind of, dabble into PvP and kind of wet your feet in there is by maybe attending the PvP boot camp beginners class. Dun dun dun. So, what is PvP Bootcamp Beginners Class? It's a new event that is being organized by the TSW's PvP events team and us here on Beyond the Veil, with very great help from the community, from tswdb.com and the Sanctuary, and hopefully Funcom, where what's going to be happening is the event itself will be taking place during the course of 2 weekends in mid-May, May 9th and 10th, and then again on 16th and 17th. So those both are weekends, Saturday and Sunday. It is open to anyone who wants to learn how to PvP. Okay, so if you've kind of wanted to try PvPing, but you're just not sure how to start out. Maybe you've tried PvPing, but, you weren't really doing very well. Maybe you kept dying. You were getting frustrated. Maybe you had a, negative experience of any kind. You don't feel like that's your something that you should be doing, or you didn't like it. Maybe you never even thought about PvPing, but you hear this and you go, well, I don't mind seeing another aspect of the game. Or maybe you're just curious about PvP in general. Well, this is the place to be. Okay, why? Simply because the PvP veterans of the game, who know everything inside and out, but they're still learning, because adapting is the key word in PvP. And I'm pretty sure every PvPer is going to tell you that. So if you want to learn more, not just about PvP, but how to go about, adapting to create better builds, and how to, handle certain things in PvP. This is the place to be, where PvP veterans will be on hand in very small groups of people, like 3 to 5 people. Via TeamSpeak, will be able to guide you through the PvP zones, how to just in general, how to approach PvP, because PvP has a different mentality in PvE.
Oh yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So, a lot of the times you might see someone and just go, oh my God, what a complete jerk. I'm never coming back in here again. But the thing is, for all you know, they might have been RPing that character who's a real jackass. True enough, sometimes some people can be a jackass. But, you kind of have to get yourself psyched. Some people just do that. As soon as the fighting is over, they go back to just being the regular Joe, and they're just really nice. In general, my experience with PvPers has been very, very positive. And I strongly encourage anyone who just wants to have some fun, if nothing else, and just in general have a fun jam with some other players from the game, to sign up for the event. It will be taking place, like I said, mid-May, 2 weekends, the 9th and the 10th, and 16th and 17th. Everything will be happening at the Soul Fight Club, simply because we think it's the most appropriate to hold this kind of event. What you can expect from this event is to take about probably a minimum of 2 hours that you will need to kind of set aside for it. It will have 3 parts. First, there's going to be a general overview and introduction to PvP. Like I've already mentioned, that people will be divided into groups so as to maximize the how should I put it without sounding too we're going to be using the veteran PvPers a lot and squeezing any kind of information we can from them. So that's why we're going to be, grouping people into very small groups where you will be having discussion, talk, conversation, whatever you want to call it, maybe even a debate with another PvP veteran who will be there to provide you with information and then answer any questions that you might have as well. So each of them will give you, in their own very unique ways, because they're all very unique individuals, will give you a general overview and introduce you to PvP in the game. We'll also have a practice session during which you'll be trying out builds, talking tactics, and like I said, ask questions. And then in part 3, this is where all hell will break loose, where you'll be putting what you have learned during that session into practice. So it's going to be heaps of fun. Like I said, it's going to be happening via TeamSpeak 3. You can download it. The post has been posted on the forums under the Horned God thread. So do go there and check it out. If you don't have TeamSpeak, you definitely have time to get it. It's a free program. It's very easy to install and use. If you do run into any problems, you can always send us an email, beyondtsw@gmail.com, and ask for our help, and we'll be happy to help you. The reason why we are doing it via TeamSpeak is simply because, well, we all use TeamSpeak while gaming, but we thought it was imperative that we actually talk during this event. A lot of the times people will be typing during events, but with PvP getting kind of like the wrong, a lot of players get the wrong idea from just written word. So we wanted people to be talking directly to the PvPers with whom they might be PvPing in the future, so that they get to know them as well, and that there's no misunderstanding when someone tells you something. It's not just the written word that you can take any way, depending on your mood at the time. Instead, you'll be able to listen to the tone. You'll be able to have laughs with the group. So in general, it's to bring the community even closer together.
Absolutely. And another reason for TeamSpeak is it's very hard to type when you're trying to heal or trying to kill. Exactly.
Definitely. And also, we will have prizes. We don't have the exact detailed list, but you can expect that there will be a number of prizes that will be handed down. Beyond is sponsoring some of the prizes, and we have quite a few lined up for this event. The list of prizes will be posted on that thread on the forums as we get closer to the event. So hopefully, there's also how to prepare for the event. You can, but you don't have to. You can be a complete noob that has just entered Kingsmouth on, one of the first few missions that you have done, or you can be, a player who is basically an endgame player, but has never ventured into PvP. But, wouldn't mind coming in, having a few laughs, seeing what the PvP is all about, seeing if this is for you, seeing what the PvP community is all about and how they are and stuff like that. So it's open to anyone, regardless of gear, regardless of where they are in the game. The emphasis here is on you guys being new to PvP, or relatively new. Like I said, if you went into PvP a couple of times and kind of, had your ass handed down to you, like it happens to so many of us, and kind of went away with it going like, okay, this is not for me. Well, give this a go. See how it is. If nothing else, as a participant, you'll be signed up for a prize, and you might even come away with something pretty cool. In order to sign up, you do need to provide certain information to us at the time of signing up, such as your character name, your faction, dimension, preferred role in PvP, just so that we know how to pair you up and with whom, preferred language, time zone, and general time that you would be available during one of those 2 days or weekends. So that way we can actually pair you up at the time that suits you the most. So we'll try to bend as much as possible to the community's wishes and personal wishes of players. Even when it comes to preferred language, we will probably be able, we know that we'll be able to provide tutoring, or as we say, tormenting in German. We're also hoping to be able to do it in French as well. That's still under question mark, but if you guys, listening out there would prefer to do the tutoring in any language other than English, I'm not talking about Spanish, Portuguese, Croatian, or, any one of those, but we do have a limit of those 3 languages, English, German, and French. Feel free to post it there, and we'll do our best to accommodate you guys. You can also choose, you'll see everything's explained on the thread. When it comes to different time zones, there's 3 different time zones: Eastern Standard Time, which is GMT -5, Central European Time, GMT +2, and Australian Eastern Standard Time, GMT +10. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask. Groups and schedules will be announced after the signups have closed. That's probably going to be on the 8th of May. So definitely do keep an eye on that. And of course, winners of prizes will be announced after the event concludes. So we're really, really, really excited to bring this to you guys. This is something that has been, it's not a new idea. It's been mentioned many times in many different forms, but the idea has always been behind it. The main idea behind it has always been the same, and that is to have some sort of an event for people who are new to PvP, who will have a chance to learn about PvP directly from people who PvP the most. So hopefully, you'll give this a go. You never know. If you may not have liked it before, this might just be, the crunch for you that kind of goes, okay, this is not as bad. At least you'll learn something new. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. And yeah, you might even have some fun.
Might even have some fun every time I go into PvP. I went into PvP when I saw you the other day, or yesterday. When was it? I went in to take some screenshots, right? And instead of taking screenshots, what did I end up doing? Participating.
Fighting. Yes.
Exactly.
I was healing you.
I noticed. Yeah, so it's really, really, really cool. Especially now, before it used to be pretty quiet in Fusang, but now it's just a beehive of activity, and it's absolutely great to see.
Certainly got busier after 1.10, Fusang. The changes are really good, and there's the quests as well that you can get.
That's right.
Have
There's
they had
lots of fun.
their cooldowns changed recently? I was in Fusang the other day, and the capturing an animal well seemed to have a 18-hour cooldown or something. I remember that being 30 minutes previously.
That has changed, yeah.
That's been since 1.10, no.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
been there for quite a while.
Right.
So that's how long it's been since you've been into PvP. Yeah, those are dailies now. Those are daily missions. The rewards are, I think, the rewards, excuse me, have been increased.
And capturing an animal whale's 10 black marks. No, sorry. Capturing an animal whale's 5. Killing 10 enemies is 10, and capturing a facility's 50. Capturing a facility's got a bit of a longer cooldown though than the other two. And then on top of that, you get white marks as well.
Yeah. Dr. Redacted said in chat, I stay away from PvP because it usually devolves into people being very, very mad at each other. More trash talking than a middle school locker room.
Well, do you know what all I would say is there is an ignore button for a reason.
Not only that, but you know what? PvP mentality is just that. You kind of need to psych yourself up, before the fight and for the fight and during the fight. But as soon as the fighting is over, what people don't realize is that a lot of times those same people who have been at each other's throat in chat, you kind of go, oh my God, these are like mortal enemies. They'll actually be congratulating each other on a move that the other one has done. It's like, man, that was a beautiful move. What did you do? How did you counter whatever, that I did and stuff like that. So that's the part that you're not going to see in general chat, but you will, that's something that will happen in private messages, and that's something that you're not going to get to see. But it's just the PvP mentality to go out there, go and fight because you're fighting another faction,
Or in the PvP channel, the PvP chat channel, there's a lot of that, like good game or that was really well played. There's a lot of real acknowledging each other's skills in the game as well. But again, all I would say is if the trash talk gets too much for you, just either don't put general up or just ignore people. There's absolutely no problem in doing that. But equally so, the PvP chat channel, there's a lot of conversation goes on there where people are congratulating each other on what's happened.
To be fair too, I would take the PvP chat that I've seen in this game over the PvP chat I see in any other game I've played. I'll take out PvP chat over some of the general chat in some other games I've played, come to think of it.
I'd agree with that, but it doesn't, you still can't take with, there are some very childish bad eggs that do play PvP, and it is embarrassing to see the sort of incredibly immature slurs that they use in PvP, so there is the ignore button, and I would recommend using it, as
I would agree
there
with
are some
that.
bad eggs.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, some of the trash talk is quite funny. It can actually make me laugh, because it can get quite imaginative, and I mean in a nice way, not in a derogatory way. But equally so, I have heard stories about people. I don't think it's just PvPers. I think it's any game player. It's the person behind the screen. I've heard stories about people who have done PvE, who have maybe gone into nightmares, who have been totally derised, had derisory comments made to them about their skills or their gear. I just think sometimes, it's more about the person behind the screen than who's actually playing. But yeah, some of the trash talk can be quite funny. Some of the trash talk can be quite offensive. I would say if it offends you, put it on ignore. Or kill them.
Yeah, don't heal them. If you're a healer, refuse healing them.
Yeah, well, exactly. Healers actually can have the biggest biggest kill count in a game. Because really, because they this is the thing. It's like I keep on saying to people, don't diss a healer, because if you diss a healer, well,
the healer is going to diss you.
Consequences. So yeah, a healer can technically have the biggest kill count in a game, albeit it's their own faction, but they can.
Oh, we just got asked in chat, what is the custom PvP chat channel?
Yeah, and Davichi says it's grrr PvP. It's just PvP, right?
It is, exactly.
So it's just chat join PvP. That's it. That's the command to enter. So the name of the channel is PvP. Yep. Cool as. And just to kind of thread back, Orca was asking, how do you submit your entries for IMTSW? Every round, IMTSW contest first and foremost has its own sub-forum. And it's very, very prominent and visible once you get to the forums. Once you click on it, you will see that you have contest information, winners, and there is a special thread for each of the rounds. Once you click on a particular round that you want to submit your entry in, a new window will pop up with the general information for that particular round, and then you will see people's posts there. So this is the place where you create a new thread, and make sure you add your character's name and IMTSW in the title. Just follow people's, whatever people have been putting into the title so far. Usually it's, I don't know, Orca's IMTSW PvP montage entry. Even though PvP montage does not open until Monday, so don't submit there just yet. But there's a few rounds that are still open for submissions. Those are the backstory round and the handcrafted round. The cosplay, screenshot, and audio rounds have already been closed for entries, and audio and screenshot rounds have already had winners announced, and the cosplay round will be having them announced in the next couple of days. So the backstory round and the handcrafted round are open right now, with the PvP montage round will open on Monday. So you can submit your entries there. Guerrero 428 in Twitch says, I'm gonna have a sit down. Putting up with trash talk is very tiring. Yeah, Dr. Redacted, am I coming through?
Yep, can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Dr. Redacted says, I've completely halted an 18s run after a guy started trash talking our noobmare pickups. You know you're getting a finger wag when the healer literally sits down during the boss fight. Yeah, look, in any game, you will definitely find a few bad apples. PvP, PvE, it does not matter. Once a jerk, always a jerk. So like Very said, if you do come across them, just kind of deal with them there and then ignore them, and then just put them on the ignore list, and you never have to be bothered with them again. If they do kind of cross the line, you can always report them. If they're, using really foul language, if they're being very offensive, you can always report them. So definitely do not take any bullying from anyone in this game.
I know we have some high-level players who will ignore if they run across anything really bad, and then I know there's people who will ignore forever. And then you start running out of those high-level players to run your high-level stuff with you.
Yeah. The thing is, we've talked about this before on the show where people in Noobmare started posting gear requirements or stating their own, gear levels and experience in looking for groups for Nightmare Dungeon runs. And people in Noobmare chat have been extremely fast in kind of cracking down on those and basically telling them, look, this is Noobmares. You don't need any skill. You don't need any previous skill or experience or gear for that matter. This is for the new players. So new players, it's presumed that you do not have the necessary, or rather that you're not decked out in all purples 10.4.4s. So everybody is welcome there. Absolutely everybody. And there is absolutely no need to be posting any kind of gear requirement when looking for a group. It's like, Noobmares, you can't expect a quick, fast 18s run. You just can't. Simply because, well, sometimes it can happen that you're going to get those Uber players who have, who are just helping out someone else, and you'll just be like completely gobsmacked because you kind of take or drag down in like 30 seconds. But then again, you'll have those runs when, you'll keep on dying on certain bosses. But hey, that's Noobmare's run, and that's something that you have to expect.
Yeah, and you'll learn something new every time.
That is very, very true. Alrighty, so the issue 11 poster so far is only missing one little square, isn't it?
Yeah, the little square that has the date.
Well noticed.
Yeah. Didn't it resurface before already? Like way back when? Oh no, that wasn't it. No,
Yeah, the
someone
one-
posted it on Reddit or somewhere.
I haven't seen that. Well, did the whole thing get leaked somewhere, or is this the
No,
one
it
that
was
Vike
just- it
Start
was just-
did in Paint?
No,
Because I
not
like the
that
one that was done in Paint.
Because there was that one that Tilty put up onto Twitter that had Alex, Rose mailing those three characters again that a lot of us thought was going to be the issue artwork.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat comments. Hence that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm liking the artwork though for Reaping the Whirlwind. Lilith's got her hair out, so she's ready to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, but you know what? She looked really, really nice and almost to the point of beautiful on issue 7 poster. And once I saw her in game, it was like, oh, really? She looks old.
Well, she is like 2,000 or 3,000 years old, so she's not looking that bad. She's doing better than Saeed.
Yeah, true. You got me there. It must be all the filth baths that she takes.
Oh man, you mentioning Saeed, that just reminds me something random, vaguely Secret World related the other day. Somebody had posted something about mummies somewhere that had been found with drug remnants in them, and that was my first thought. Was, oh, it's the kingdom.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he's probably so full of cocaine, that's why he's still alive.
Oh, yeah. Saeed
This,
is quite a character.
this is what the secret world does to you. Somebody tries to post the weird news of the day, and you go, "Oh man, that totally makes sense in my game world."
Well, we've had things that, with the news of the day, like those Coptic scrolls, those ancient Egyptian spell books, that then Scriv used as part of the Christmas conspiracy.
Oh, point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So there's one thing that you as wanted to talk about on the show.
Yeah. Well, every now and then the question of conventional weaponry comes up on the forums or in game. As the weapons that we generally use, they don't use real bullets. They use anima. We use them as a focus to channel our anima. I'm not entirely sure how the the swords or the maces work, because we're hitting them with it, but we're still using them as a focus for our anima. So the question comes up, do conventional weapons, would they still work? If we had a regular pistol, would we still be able to take down a werewolf? Would we still be able to take down a ghost? And if they do, why don't we carry a backup weapon for the situations where we get our anima powers knocked out? Say in issue 7, where we have that gas that knocks up our power and we just have to use fisticuffs. If we had a side pistol, or even like a knife, like an actual knife, would we have just been able to walk through that, or for some reason would it have not worked? So what do we think about that?
My first thought when you said that was actually to think about the augments and how they're is that they are attuned to us and we attune them to our anima. So I wonder if the weapons we used aren't also to some degree, attuned to our powers. So maybe regular ones wouldn't work because they wouldn't be attuned.
Yeah, the attunement idea works well with the in-game mechanic of having items bind to you, as it's responding to your personal anima, so you can't share it around. And similar things happen with the orcs weapons and such. But does that mean that we couldn't pick up a real machine gun and go on a rampage killing vampires?
Well, you probably could. How much damage it would actually do to them is probably not nearly as much.
And
So it's not that it wouldn't be effective, it's just that it wouldn't be effective to the same level as the anima-infused weaponry.
and would we necessarily be trained for regular weapons? Would there be a difference there between using something that is attuned to our anima and how we can manage that versus just trying to pick up a machine gun and start shooting and hope we don't shoot, shooting our foot off wouldn't do much harm, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's one of the arguments that does get brought up, that we are shock troops, we are cannon fodder for our societies. We're just grabbed off the road. Right, here's a focus. Get out there and stop this horror. We don't get trained very well. It's all on the job. As to how effective the weapons are, there's maybe 3 or 4 times in the game that we do use something conventional. There's the barn burner in Kingsmouth. That's an actual flamethrower. We have to pick up cans of gasoline, cans of petrol to use it. In Blue Mountain, there's a chainsaw that we have to pick. It's just a real chainsaw, and both of those are incredibly effective weapons, but they're not anima infused. So it seems that maybe they are. So yeah, it could come down to training. But now that we're at this part of the game, we've saved the world 4 or 5 times. Is it about time that we got trained to use a backup real weapon for when we do lose our anima?
Maybe they'd rather we not be able to if we lose our anima and they want to just cut us loose.
Yeah, we're no use to them anymore.
Well, that's an interesting idea. As in the Christmas Conspiracy, Lydia Phoenician, she had an ability that temporarily blocked us from using our anima powers. And my favorite conspiracy theory that I developed, I came across like a day or 2 ago, so it's not, it hasn't had that much thought put into it, was that we get our anima weapons, like the custom ones and the Venetian ones, they come from Orochi. Orochi have made these weapons, and somehow, even though they don't have many of their own bees, they're selling them to us. Now, do we think that they could be a remote activated off switch, like a kill switch in all of our equipment, that Orochi, if something goes wrong with the Societies, Orochi can just flip that switch and suddenly we're hopeless? Because they supply our weaponry.
Ooh, so there's like a flip switch, kill switch.
Yeah,
that
something
prevents
remote
us.
activated, that they could have a big red button on the top of the tower that they can press it and suddenly the entire secret world goes dead.
So
That
we're
would
like
be a
fighting.
problem.
Well, maybe that's the whole point of one of the missions there. You know, we gotta stop something like that from happening.
Yeah,
I don't
we know
know.
we know they're investigating, or they're researching how to infuse things with anima, how to
Yeah.
create their own artificial bees. So they'd want to have some safety in place. So I imagine they're working on a lot of anti-anima stuff as well.
Quite possibly. Dr. Redacted says, side weapons would work if my main character didn't insist on bringing a sword to gunfight. Awesome. David just says, so people run with the guns with the safety on. Yeah, so you see, this is what I mean with the secret world. It provides you with certain answers, and then it just begs more questions. It just creates a whole bunch of new questions, and yeah, so it keeps you coming back for more.
Yeah, and the whole. Now go on, Griff.
Thanks. On the training thing and whatnot, the other thing that just occurred to me, and this is very Lumi thinking. One of the reasons I like the Illuminati is because I was in retail for so long, so I kind of get that corporate thing. When I was working in retail, they would train us with the best equipment we had. They didn't bother teaching us how to use like a POS system from 10 years ago, because it wouldn't have been cost effective. So that makes me wonder about the efficiency of training us or gearing us with regular weapons.
Well, there's a very good point being brought up that we are powered before we get our weapons. Remember that first cutscene?
Where we trash our home. We can't. I say we've got power, but we don't have a way to focus it in something usable.
And the new, or rather, newer weapons, auxiliary weapons, we actually have to actively infuse it with anima, otherwise they don't work. Like flamethrower comes to mind. You have to anima infuse it.
Yeah, it's just been pointed out in chat that we do learn to focus. In that very opening cutscene, it takes us about a week, but then we can make an animal ball jump from one hand to the other. And there are several cutscenes in the game where we sort of summon a little anima fireball in our hand as our way of sort of intimidating or saying that I'm ready for a fight. So, we can seem to do it without a focus, but I don't know how effective that is.
I was gonna say I don't know if the anima ball would be super intimidating, when we go try to take out Flappy.
No, not a
yeah,
Flappy,
Flappy is
but
a completely
another
different
human, yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, we are the weapon. The gun, the sword is just a focus.
Woohoo! We are the weapon.
Oh, I wonder that's making me think about the glyphs too, and the whole theory that the glyphs are also about helping us focus our power, and that's why we put the glyphs on the weapons.
Interesting.
Yeah,
definitely.
Even trying to work out how the talismans work is is interesting too. One of the things with this game is the tagline is everything's true, and so much of the game is no coincidence. Everything has or most things have a reason. So you come up against what's a game mechanic, and how do we justify that with in-game lore? And most of it can be done. So there's a lot of interesting things to talk about.
Definitely. I can just imagine our discussions once issue 11 goes live. Are you guys subs or GMs?
Yes, I am GM.
Oh, okay. Because usually what happens is when the new issue comes out live on the live server, it goes to GMs and subs in the game. Like we have a 3-day head start on the rest of the game's population. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see that. I can't wait. To be honest, I don't even care about the dungeon at this point, or the new raid, the new group content. I just want to see how it all ends right now. It's like, okay, once I see that, it's like, okay, now where's the dungeon?
Well, there's been so many theories, and people have so many ideas, and we're gonna get to find out, probably not all of them, what's true and what's not, but at least some of them.
Yeah,
Definitely
my money is
not
on
all.
Lilith just needed a hug, and we're going to be best friends forever.
I'll give her.
Yeah,
I'll let
the
her
goodness
borrow
prevails,
Inky.
huh? The bad, yeah. No, I don't buy that at
No,
all.
you can't forgive her for trying to cut your legs off?
Hell no. I want to cut her legs off now. No, I'm joking. I don't go that far. But yeah, I do kind of like her hair. In the poster. Did you guys see it? Like,
Yes.
just kind of the wind there, and she's probably standing on top of the Arachi Tower looking down on us. I want to say mere mortals, but we're not mere mortals. we're slightly above them. So
I hope
yeah.
Davichi had to animate each individual strand of hair in the cutscenes.
Oh, those are going to be really, really cool. He always puts up really great cutscenes. So, hoo-hoo. Can't wait to see those.
Gonna have
Definitely
to
looking
decide what I'm
forward.
gonna wear the first time I play through them.
Oh my gosh, such a secret worlder. You have to choose what you're gonna decide when you get into the game, what you're gonna wear. Yeah. This is, I think, one of the only games that people kind of go in and go like, okay, today I'm going to be questing in Carpathian Fangs, and I just came from Egypt in flip-flops, so I got to change first and foremost before I start killing werewolves. Into something more, warmer.
I don't do that in any other game, and I can't seem to help doing it in this one.
Yeah, I was doing 24s with a bunch of people from Noobmares. And the funny thing was, so, in Polaris, it's basically, whatever you want to put on. But when you enter Darkness War, it's like, hell, everybody switched costumes, right? So I was the only one who was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's still in the same outfit. And I do believe it was the current outfit that I had on. So people go like, after the first boss fight, Antita, you're not gonna change? You can be fighting Mayans with, that outfit. It just doesn't go along with the dungeon. So I had to change. And then every dungeon we went into, we had to change. So, but it was such a great group of people, and the tank was absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And I had so much fun with that group. Just the, a general chit chat, and everything was happening in group chat in game. And I was thinking, oh man, it would be so awesome if I could get all of them on TeamSpeak, because I hate typing.
Yeah, it's a
someone
lot
just
harder
made
to
it to
yell
the
at people using
broadcast.
chat.
That isn't Arlie. That is a friend of mine. Hi, Arlie.
Hey. What was that as?
I was saying it's a lot harder to yell at people not on voice chat.
No, but it's definitely
I recently,
interesting. Go for it.
I was gonna say in the raid the other week we had a lot more not fist, we had a lot more melee DPS than usual, so we didn't have as many range DPS to take care of the ads during the
The third
various
phase.
phases. And as I was fist healing, so of course they came and ate me, and it was the first time I've panically yelled into the microphone, ads, ads.
Yeah, you see, this is why I like TeamSpeak, because a lot of the times hilarity will ensue simply because people's reactions to something that's happening in the game. You can't really type it, but you speak it, you say it, and you usually press control or whichever button you need to press when you're talking either on Mumble event or TeamSpeak, and everybody just kind of bursts into laughter, and that's what makes the social aspect of MMOs. That's what it's all about for me. It's playing it with the group, and it can get absolutely hilarious. Yeah, okay, so let me see. Is there anything else that we want to talk about? Nope, that was it for this.
Well, I've got one last thing we could talk about,
Okay.
or bring up briefly. Yeah, during the week, someone asked me if I could think of any cars, that actually work, that are running in the game, that we see. Can anyone think of any?
What, like the wish list, or?
No, cars or vehicles that are in the game, not like wanting to have mounts, but are there any vehicles in the game that work?
The Jeep that Nasir's driving, isn't that a Jeep?
That's true.
Yep, there's that Jeep. Can you think of any others?
Oh, really? Apart from
Yeah.
the train.
Yeah,
We
there's
have
the train, there's the snowmobile, yep, the
Snowmobile,
snowmobile, as
yeah.
Orca said, and the Jeep, and I suppose you could say some of the helicopters. Other than that, nothing seems to work.
I was gonna say Moose's motorcycle, but I don't think we've actually seen that work.
No. Not that I remember anyway.
Yeah, just some interesting thing that, yeah, vehicles don't run.
Oh, that's right, Arlie. The horns work, at least, in Kingsmouth. Or the car alarms, rather. It's the car alarms that we hit, isn't it?
Guerrero says you could ride an Agartha Custodian, I suppose. There's a vehicle. Oh, I do like Dr. Redacted's post. We play Orochi in Dungeons for Cabal Run sometimes. Every time someone dies, is responsible for a wipe, they have to put on a piece of the Orochi armor set. Then we take a screenshot at the end and bask in our shame. Nice.
Oh, there we go. Davichi says choppers work until they crash.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but then again, everything Orochi, anything Orochi eventually dies out. Their personnel included. You know what? I would actually find it absolutely hilarious when the game was created if the Orochi's uniforms were red, because it would be a homage to red shirts in Star Trek. Yep, get to the chopper now.
You've got the two Orochi, what is it, Anne Radcliffe and what's his name, the one that's voiced by the Star Trek bloke in Kingsmouth.
Yep.
they make a red shirt reference in their dialogue.
They do. They do. I recently had watched the cutscene again and was like, oh man, I forgot about that reference. But one of Xander's actually favorite references in Kingsmouth is in front of, I do believe it's the Kingsmouth Museum, where there's a sign that has 1701 posted on it. That's, of course, in reference to Enterprise 1701. No E, A, B, C, or D, or E. Yeah, everybody's into choppers.
I was gonna say I'm racking my brains for more vehicles now, because
Yeah, I'm thinking along the lines of Tokyo, because we do see some stuff happening there, but yeah, there's a tank there, but it doesn't really get used. We do get a use of a tank on the train though, but we kind of get to flip a switch. We don't really get to ride one.
Oh, Morkan just in chat said that the train in London works, and you can see there is a train that does go past every now and then.
Really?
Yeah, it's up on the walls. Just the Albion Theatre. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I remember now where that is. I forgot. Yeah. So, yeah, not a lot. Some people are hoping for more. Definitely some people are wanting to see mounts in the game, whether it be a simple scooter, to maybe some kind of levitation device. There's a whole bunch of ideas that people have thrown to the development team, like of stuff that they want to see, coupled with, of course, housing, which they've continuously said no, and no.
we don't see them move, but there are scooters in Kingsmouth. I remember collecting things from them for a mission.
Yep. There's one close to the church, Kingsmouth Church.
Yeah, that's one of the first missions you get.
Yeah, but you don't. I mean, you see it, but you don't actually use it, or you don't see it like kind of. You don't see anyone kind of go past you on a scooter.
Oh, there is that van in Tyler Freeborn in a cutscene. There's an Orochi van that we chase.
That's true, but there's Orochi vans in Carpathian Fangs with issue 7 as well.
Oh yeah, there's a whole convoy, isn't there, that we blow up? Right, yes. That's probably more cars that move than the entire rest of the game combined.
Yeah, probably. Marty's hoverboard?
Is that what we need in game now? Just as long as they're not made by the Orochi, I would not get up on anything that they made.
A motorbike. A motorbike would be good. Yeah, a motorbike.
Something nice and simple, yeah. 4-wheeler.
Isn't that a car?
Dr. Redacted said Lumi's here, no housing, and are like, well, I'm going to the laundromat. And pretend you have an apartment there. Okay. All right, guys. So on those notes, we've come to the end of Beyond the Veil's 136th live show. You can, of course, catch us again next week at the same time, at the same place. Black Clays will fill you in on the rest. Until then, hopefully next week we will be that much closer, if not even, very, very close, as in it drops on us when it comes to issue 11. Highly doubt that. I don't think it's gonna. Do you guys think it's gonna drop then? Hello.
Probably not. I reckon maybe the first week into May.
Yeah. Yeah, because we still haven't had. I'm not sure if we should be testing out the dungeon and the raid on Test Live as well, right?
Oh, they've been delayed, haven't they? They're not coming with the first lot of issue 10. Sorry, 11. They're being split into a later release, I believe.
That's right. Dang it. Oh, well, then, for all we know, it is coming up. It is coming up on the 30th. And the funny thing is, next week, Thursday, we are doing a show, and it is the last day of April. And if anything's gonna drop, it could very well be that it drops right there and then, right into our lap.
Keeps us on our toes.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So, again, it's a waiting game. It all depends on how things are going to progress on Test Live, how many hiccups they might have with the content that's being released, and a whole bunch of other stuff which we're probably not even aware of right now, simply because, well, we don't need to be aware of that. Only the development team knows about those. So fingers crossed that everything's going to go well, and we will have it next week. If not, be patient, folks. It's going to come up when it is darn good and ready. And that's how we like it in the Secret World. As a community, we prefer quality over quantity or rushed out content that is not going to stand up to par when it comes to the quality of the rest of the game. So development team knows that. We appreciate their hard work, and it's going to come out when it's good and ready. Of course, just a quick reminder that you can still participate in IMTSW contest. The backstory round and the handcrafted round are open right now, with the PvP montage round that will be opening on coming Monday, the 27th. So you can enter your submissions from Monday for that particular round. Also, don't forget the PvP bootcamp for beginners happening mid-May 9th and 10th and 16th and 17th. Please do sign up on the forums if you would like to participate. Provide us with a few more information when it comes to time zones, languages, and all that nice stuff that you can see on the forums. We will be tweeting about it as well. You'll see a marketing push from our side when it comes to that event. Hopefully we'll do a good enough job, and we'll have quite a number of you guys sign up. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's show. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you found a few things of interest, maybe learned something. And thank you guys to all of you on the live stream who have joined us tonight. We appreciate you guys here with us, asking questions and participating directly in the conversations. All right. Until next week, see you on Thursday, same time, same place. Until then, enjoy gaming in the Secret World. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of Beyond the Veil, a production of Holosuite Media. Join us next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and be sure to check holosuitemedia.com and iTunes for our remastered shows and more. You can follow us on Twitter at BeyondTSW. If you have any questions or comments, please send us an email to beyondtsw@gmail.com, and join us next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Beyond the Veil, a place where hilarity always ensues.